Okay, real talk for a second. That financial advice your parents gave you? It probably came from a good place. But here's the thing. It's not just outdated, it's actually dangerous. Following the financial rules from the 1980s will keep you broke today. These are what I call financial ghost stories, old tales that are haunting your bank account. And today, we're busting them. I bet you've heard this one a million times, right? A penny saved is a penny earned. But you gotta understand, sayings like this are basically financial folklore. They're programming from a world that just doesn't exist anymore. In their world, this was gospel. In our world, well, it's a trap. And that old saying leads us straight into our first and maybe the most common myth, the idea that cash is king, the belief that stuffing all your money into a safe savings account is the smartest move you can make. And look, it used to be, but the game has totally, completely changed. So, let's look at the why. Back in the 80s, when your parents were forming their money habits, you could put cash in the bank and get a guaranteed 10% return. Risk-free! Can you even imagine that? Today, you're lucky if you get 4%. And here's the real kicker. Inflation is hovering around 3.5%, which means it's eating away at your money's value. So your real gain is what? Almost nothing? You're basically just treading water. And this is what treading water actually costs you. Just look at this. You put $1,000 in a savings account for 30 years. You end up with a little over $3,000. Okay, but if you put that same $1,000 into a simple, kind of boring S&P 500 index fund, you'd have over $17,000. That's not just a small difference. That is a life-altering amount of money you're leaving on the table by playing it safe. Okay, on to myth number 2. This is a big one. The idea that all debt is basically a one-way ticket to financial hell. And you know, your parents weren't totally wrong to fear some types of debt, but they were only seeing half the picture. And the other half of that picture is something called strategic debt. Honestly, this is the tool the wealthy use to get even wealthier. We're not talking about debt to buy a giant TV. We're talking about using leverage, borrowed money, to buy things that will make you more money than the debt is costing you.
So you have to think about it this way. There are two kinds of debt. There's consumer debt, which is poison. That's your 24% interest credit card you used for stuff that loses value. It just drains your wealth. But then there's strategic debt, which is leverage. That's like a mortgage on a house that's appreciating, or a student loan that boosts your career earnings. That kind of debt builds wealth. They are not the same thing at all.
And here's the really wild part. It's a total catch-22. If you follow that old advice and avoid all debt like the plague, you become a financial ghost. You have no credit score. And without a credit score, you can't rent an apartment, get a good rate on a car loan, or buy a house. You actually have to use credit responsibly just to prove to the system that you can be trusted with it. All right, let's talk about the scariest ghost story of them all. This is the one that can do the most damage. It's the belief that if you just find a good, stable job and you're a loyal employee, your company will take care of you in retirement. That idea, that ship hasn't just sailed, my friend. It hit an iceberg and sank to the bottom of the ocean decades ago. See, your parents' generation had pensions. That was a promise, a guaranteed check every single month for life. Back in 1980, a whopping 84% of private sector workers had one. Today, that number has absolutely collapsed. It's down to just 15%. That safety net? It's gone. I need to be crystal clear about this. The risk and the entire responsibility for your retirement is no longer on your employer. It has been shifted 100% onto your shoulders. Your parents could rely on their company as a partner. You can only rely on yourself and what you put in your 401k. And if that doesn't light a fire under you, this chart should. This is the raw power of compound interest. If you start investing just $500 a month at age 25, you could have around $1.7 million by retirement. But if you wait just 10 years and start the exact same plan at 35, you end up with less than half of that. That 10-year delay, just a decade, literally costs you $1 million. Okay, I know, that's a lot, and it can feel pretty overwhelming. But here's the good news. Now that we've dragged these ghosts out into the light, you can start rewriting your own financial story. It really is time to take control, and you can start today. So here's your new playbook. It's simple. First, audit your beliefs. Really question where your ideas about money came from. Second, get educated. The rules of money have changed, so you have to learn the new ones for yourself. And third, set your own goals. Your vision for a successful life might be totally different from your parents', and that's more than okay. It's time to build a plan for your life. So I'll just leave you with this thought. The advice our parents gave us came from a place of love, but it was for a different world. You owe it to your future self to adapt and to learn the new rules. So ask yourself this: what ghost story have you been listening to? And what are you going to do about it?